Welcome to another fantastic Video Volleyball Dads podcast. I'm one of the three tonight, Dan Doble. I'm with Jamazing and the wonderful Hype Reels Travell.
Hey,
Hype Reels. My boy Travell's getting all kinds of clout now. He's getting recognized places by people.
Really? Yeah,
in your area,
states away.
Well, I mean, you got somebody in Arkansas going, "Oh man,
you're talking about Matt,
this Hype Reels guy."
Yeah, I'm curious as to how that actually transpired. Like, did she just stumble across me, or I don't know, man.
Who knows?
Fun. It's all fun though, man.
It's all fun and games. It's all fun and games.
Yeah.
So what's new with you guys? First official tournaments went through this weekend.
Oh yeah. Oh, for y'all, yeah.
Yeah. Say everybody.
We're on our third tournament.
Yeah, we're about to play number 3 for my youngest this weekend. So
officially underway.
Yeah,
this was a good one. This was the Tour of Texas top 1 for us. We took 5th in the Invitational, the 14s Invitational. Lost to TAV in the first round of the gold bracket.
Mm-hmm.
They're good. If you hadn't heard of TAV before, which I have, they're good.
I have. They make their way around here. So.
Yeah, they're all those North Texas teams are.
Yeah.
Texas Advantage Volleyball, I think.
Mm-hmm. Are they out of Dallas or Plano or?
I think they've expanded, but I think they're primarily out of Dallas. But I do think they have a Houston branch now.
Yeah.
I assume it's affiliated, but yeah, they're quite the team. I think they're just they're phenomenally athletic and taller than us considerably, but I think they're just a little far along in how their development of their system is. I'm glad we played them now. I think we'll do really well against teams like that throughout the season. So it was
your
awesome
daughter's
to play
14s, right?
Yeah, 14s.
And plays in open?
Yeah. That's open. Last year was my first year in open division, or her first year in open. My first year being a parent in open division, and
isn't it a whole different world?
Oh, yeah. It's insane.
It's
the level of play.
It's intense. Yeah,
it's amazing.
You'll get some that are like, how do they even make it here? And you get some of them. Why are they even playing down to this level? Because they're so good,
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we played open at all last year. This is our first year with my oldest doing open, and they held their own. But I mean, there's definitely there's competition all over. It's not easy.
It's not like you're going to be able to breeze through and make it to the gold bracket.
No.
It's a challenge. It's definitely a challenge.
They're finding their way. They're finding their identity as a team and kind of working out some kinks early on. So it's still early in the season. The good thing is it started, but it's still early.
Working out kinks. I just want to jump on this because we're talking about it. So for everybody that's watching, this is kind of a why do we do this and what is the title? I can't remember now. Why do we do it?
Why do we do it? Yeah.
What we pay the money to spend.
Why do you drop the money?
On volleyball or club sports, we should say. And when you say that, it's funny because last year my daughter played on a 15s team or 16s. It was 16s team, and it was eye opening because you think that they got it down. They've been practicing for 3 months. Sometimes in some locations longer. And you think, all right, we're gonna come into this tournament and it's just gonna be guns blazing, pedal to the floor. We're gonna kick everybody's ass. And then you're like, why is she playing that position? And what's going on here with this rotation? And you don't have any idea. And
you think you do. You think you do.
You do, but you don't. And my question to you guys is that something that you see every year with your clubs that your kids have played in? I noticed it was particularly particularly eye-opening last year for us, given the fact that they were trying new people in new positions. And then talking to people this year, there's a lot of switching around, girls to see where they fit in tournament situations. Is that something that you guys notice on a normal basis? And if so, how do you feel about that?
Travell, you want to go first, or?
I don't know, man. I don't know how to answer that. I don't know if I got the answer for you. I don't know if there is an answer.
I feel like Travell's just running from court to court trying to catch both his daughters playing, filming other people.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have anything on that. I mean,
it is what it is.
I don't know. It kind of is. I mean,
go ahead, Jim. No, I was just going to say that I at first, the beginning of this last season, it was very eye-opening for me, and I wasn't a huge fan of trying new things. I'm a proponent of, well, if it's not broken, why fix it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
okay, I can see that.
And so I wasn't extremely happy about it, especially when the girls are, looks like they've never played these positions before in their lives, but they have. I'm sure they practiced them in practice. I'm sure they've gone through, these, and it just decided, well, we're going to do this real time and see what happens. Ultimately, none of those positions that they tried at the beginning tournaments ever panned out to end up being a permanent position for them. But I can see why they would do it closer to the end of the season, just to see how they fit into that rotation and if that needed to happen, if they could do it. I guess I'm not a fan of that. I'm a fan of, okay, this is the spot. This is what it does. Make the machine work, and then worry about plugging the holes later on if need be, or in practice.
I think it depends, right? At the younger ages, they should play all around, right? Just because that girl is tall, don't make her a middle at 11s or 12s. She may be done growing at 13s, and if she's only played middle, she's going to really struggle. I mean, maybe everybody rockets past her, and she ends up being a libero by the time she's 16.
That could happen.
But she's never played that position because coach said, "Oh, you're tall, you're a middle." And we've all seen that, right? We've all seen girls who they started as outsides and they had to transition to being a DS or something. So I think at the younger ages, that 11s and 12s, play all around, get experience with as many positions as you can. By the time you start to get into 13s, you everybody should.
So how do you deal with that if the coach is like, nope, you're the tallest, you're the middle? I mean, why do we do that?
I try to preach to my kids to exactly what you're saying for the reasons that you're saying it. Like, you don't know development and growth wise, you don't know where you're going to be in 2 years. You might need to have the skill of a DS, but because you've been the tallest, you have no experience on back row. So the position that could be yours to have, you don't have the skill set to go and beat out the other two girls that are trying out ahead of you for that one team. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Well, and the other aspect of that is knowing what the other positions do and how they have to go about running a system helps you be a better teammate. Right? My daughter's libero. She's set for parts of the last couple of seasons. Well, not last season, but a couple of seasons before that. So she knows what it means to the setter to get a decent ball on the serve receive. So as libero, that helps her make better passes or be at least conscientious of, hey, if I'm going to miss or if I'm struggling to get a ball, I need to try at least get it over here, or where the hitters like things. So playing multiple positions, so important in the younger ages. To your point, Dan, how do you handle that if the coach isn't doing that at the younger ages?
Or even the opposite way. You want your kid is going to be a libero, but yet the coach is playing her all around and she's a middle and she's hitting from the outside and putting it into the net, and you're in a tournament situation. Like, my question is, why? Like, how do we as parents regulate that? I mean, granted, I'm not that type of person. I hide behind the camera, so I'm not the one that gets frustrated about it. And my wife is just happy to see my daughter on the court. So that's not us. But I've seen parents out there on both ends of the spectrum that are, why is my kid a middle? she's the shortest girl on the team. Yeah, she can jump, but why is she a middle right now? What's going on with this? I don't want to.
That's what the team needs, right?
Yeah.
Team. That's what I'm saying. Like, how do you I shouldn't even say how to, because it's ultimately the coach's decision.
Let me ask you this.
I mean, what do you guys do? I mean, being a new volleyball parent and listening to this and thinking, what, really? Wait.
Let me ask you this.
My kid is actually going to be in one position. They're not going to play all around like that. My question is, how does somebody cope with this as a parent?
Before I answer that, let me ask you this. Would doing it the way you guys are talking about, would that change the dynamic of how teams are formulated then? Because you look at tryouts are centered around trying out for a specific position, maybe two.
Positions, yes.
But if we're saying development-wise, they need all of those positions, that changes how teams are formed during tryouts, doesn't it?
It does.
To some extent. So I think you probably still pick the players who you think are going to make your team, right? Who's going to you have an idea of what role they're going to play. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't mean they should exclusively play that role. Again, we're talking younger ages, right? By the time they get to 14s, 15s, et cetera, and you're at 14s, right? You're kind of in that right before recruiting phase. Mm-hmm. So if you're into that kind of stuff, if you're in the game for that, you need to be settled in a position and developing in that position. You need to be specializing by then. But 11s and 12s, and even a little bit into the 13s, those girls are changing so much. They're growing so much, So for my daughter and for the clubs I saw around us, I mean, they would take a couple of girls who they knew were going to be setters. They would have a middle. They would have a couple of middles. They would have, a handful of outsides. But during the season, they all play. One would play outside, one would play right side. Sometimes you'd put one of the hitters into the middle and move the middle to the outside. So, I mean, maybe they were still front row players, or they would rotate to the back row every now and again. So I think there's a way to still build your team to be successful. But, at 11s and 12s, it's more about development, right?
Yeah,
I would agree. So, but what about those kids that are, 15, 16, that are in the phase of scouting and looking to be recruited and stuff like that? Yeah, and you've got a coach that's a well-known coach, and that's their position. Do you, as a parent, decide to say anything? Do you let that go and let the coach do what he's supposed to do?
Yeah, I mean, I here I go again, having lots of opinions.
That's
all we got here.
I'm not shy with my opinions.
We got some opinions in the chat. Well, we got I guess somebody's telling about Brazil makes 14.
Oh, that's Brad. We'll probably pop it on here.
There you go.
Bradley says, I like Brazil. I like that Brazil makes 14U and underplay a 6'6". I've seen too many high school age girls struggle with passing because of their young age. They were moved up into the back row. Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%.
Yep, absolutely. So as a parent, if you're paying attention, what your daughter excels at, what position. And I guess if you're an unbiased parent, some of us biased parents, we think that, our daughter's amazing at everything and at any position. Yeah. But where she will tell you where she wants to play or what position she wants to play. Mm-hmm. And if you want to help her with that, you're probably going to look for a club that's going to have that position for her. Right? You're not going to, if she's an outside and the club you're at keeps putting her at middle and you're heading into the scouting and recruiting years, I sincerely doubt you're going to go back to that club hoping that she's going to finally get her shot at outside when she's been a middle for the 5 years she's been there, 4 years she's been there, right? Yeah. You're going to go find another club that's got an outside spot for her.
It's true. But what if, okay, and I'm going to throw another curveball at you. What if you've got a 5'6" outside that has a crazy vertical? Okay. Ooh, we're talking crazy.
I like this one.
She's got, and this is real stuff here. Crazy vertical. She wants to be outside. They don't want to put her outside. They want her to play libero or DS because of her size, because of her speed, the fact that she can jump, she can play off the back row. Do you listen to the coach? Do you talk to your daughter? I mean, I guess ultimately it's the kid's decision. I mean, all three of us would agree with that.
Yep.
But do you want to go find another club and have her, not make starting role because she wants to be an outside? Or do you go to a lesser club where she can play outside and not worry about scout and all that stuff?
Yeah, right. There's lots of layers to that, and there's not going to be a right answer for everybody, right? Everybody's going to have different decisions. Maybe that girl is okay going to a lesser club because she knows she'll shine in that position.
Yeah.
They're still going to they'll still play open. They'll still go to qualifiers. The team may not do as well, but she'll get an opportunity to shine
and play the position she wants to.
And play the position she wants. The challenge there, of course, is we know the reality of scouting is that she's going to, as a shorter outside, or she's going to have a hard time getting recruited for a D1 program, right?
It's true.
Correct.
Not impossible, but definitely another time.
Right. It's an uphill climb, right? I think there was Kentucky, if I remember correctly, has a really dynamic 5'7" outside, can just jump out the gym, amazing player. But that's you're talking a handful of players like that now in D1 programs, versus the 6'3" girls who are hammering balls down on everybody's foreheads, right? It's just the odds are stacked against you. It's the sad reality. Volleyball's a tall girl sport. Us short people just have to stand in the back and have balls hit
average size people in volleyball. We are all of us very short, but
it's a great question though. Like it depends on what she values, right? Is she comfortable with where she is as a team? Does she, even though she really wants to play outside, is she going to have a better chance getting recruited if she wants D1, right? If that's what her goal is, playing back row DS or something. It's all about priorities. What's going to be most important to her?
Doesn't that make it more important to be skilled in other areas on the court?
Oh my gosh, 100%.
Yeah,
100%. In fact, the high school team that's out where I'm at, the one that went to state, all of their girls play all around.
Really?
So you've got middles, outsides that are playing back row, and she looks for the kids that can do that. Everybody plays all around. So, it's definitely something that a lot of coaches on the college level are looking for as well. I mean, let's be realistic. That if you can find somebody that can hit the ball, block, has ups, and can dig the ball out of the ground in the back row, along with an amazing serve. I mean, what more? And you can find 6 of them. I mean,
well, who can find 6? I mean, really, that's. I know for Skyline, they run a system. The outside rotates and plays middle back. So that's our outsides have to be able to play defense. They have to be able to serve, receive, and cover that baseline. That's a requirement if you want to play outside for our club.
Yeah.
So I've got a question. Why do we do it? Why do we spend the money? What if you go to the club that you want to go to, your daughter picks a team. Okay. It's not the A team, but let's say it's the B team or the C team. Doesn't matter. Team's set. All of a sudden a spot opens up above. Coach calls you up and says, "Hey, do you want to move up?"
Is it the spot? Is it the spot that she wants?
It's the spot she wants, but it's on a higher caliber team. She's not, that she's not a higher caliber player. And you have this fear as a parent / agent. You have this fear that your daughter's not going to play because she isn't as good as the girls that are on this team. Do you do it? And if you do, because I've seen it go both ways. Yeah. I've seen it go, horribly wrong where she moves up and now she's sitting the bench the whole season, alternating in just to give somebody a break. And you're spending how much money? You know what I mean? To go to all these tournaments, to watch your kids sit on the bench for majority of the game.
Oh, that's such the hard part right there.
Yeah. It is. So do you or does it go the other way where she gets that opportunity to get more experience and play with higher caliber players, and she blossoms into an amazing, player. What do you do? Like, because you don't have time to think about it. It's hey, do you want her to move up? Yes or no? And you have to be ready to say yes or no.
So hopefully you've had this conversation
tomorrow. It doesn't work that way.
Hopefully you've had this conversation before that phone call comes. Hopefully you kind of know what you would do in case. But in most instances, how many of us are thinking if we're on a 2, 3, or B, C team? How many of us are thinking, there might be a call that comes through that somebody decides, you know what, we're not going to play this year. You know what? Hey, we got an injury. We want to call you up. Once we get the call and they've accepted that position, to us, that's what we're doing this entire season is that team, that position, that spot. Let's go.
So I'm gonna give y'all a cheat code here. So my daughter every year makes a goal for what team she wants to be on, and we ask her, what's your backup plan? If you don't make that team, are you okay making the 2s team or the 3s team or whatever team,
That's the same club.
Yeah, or a different club.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Right. What's your backup plan? This year she bet big. She bet on herself. She got what she wanted, and I was like, she was willing to not play this year because she was only aiming for the top team, and she wasn't willing to accept anything else. It worked out great, but we made sure she understood that.
Yeah.
Hey, if you don't,
you're done.
You might be done, right?
Yeah.
And so I think you have that same conversation. We've actually had that conversation with her about.
That's a good idea.
Hey, what happens if you make a team and you're a fringe player? What if you're 11, 12, or 13th on the team? You may not get to play. Are you okay with that?
Reality.
Right? And so we've actually had those discussions going into tryouts of here's what's your plan, what's your backup plan, how do you feel about these scenarios? And so we try to have that up ahead of time.
Yeah, because I'll give you a real life scenario. So 13s, Sydney goes out for Sting, which is the club of all clubs in Wisconsin. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's very hard to get in. It's very hard. You have to start at the bottom, like 11s, to get onto this team. She tried out in the 12s, got a position, and declined it. And everybody said that's faux pas. You'll never make the team again because you declined their offer. Well, she went out the next year and she got it. She got an offer for the white team, which is the third. It's 1, 2, 3, black or gold, black, white. So she gets a bid for the white, 13 white. And a day later, they make a call and say, there's an opening for an outside spot on black. Called my wife, didn't call me. And my wife said yes. I kind of bit her head off because why would you do that? Because what if she's not going to play? Like, we need to have a conversation about this before we do it. And not necessarily having a conversation with my kid, but like you and I, honey, need to have a conversation because we're spending a lot of money here.
Yeah.
And she's going to
why do we pay for it?
Why do we pay for it? So it ended up working out very, very well. She ended up having a coach, which she says is her favorite coach of all time. She didn't have any bench time. She played all the time. So it worked out really well. But I've also seen it go the complete opposite direction and not work out very well. And you have to, and now this is like, back in the pre-days, because before when Michaela, my oldest who's 21 now, when she played in, 11s and 12s, it was literally, there was no competition. There was like 5 clubs in Wisconsin. You know what I mean? There was nothing going on. There was not 20 clubs, everybody competing for coaches. And there wasn't any of that stuff. So it's hard. It was hard for us to transition into a competitive state when it wasn't really competitive up until this point. And so moving on from that, it was definitely, that's when the light turned on that I was like, okay, we have to be like the agent for our kids. So we have to look at like their playing time. And I looked at it more from a coach or from an agent's perspective than a parent's perspective. Jim, I like how you say, leave it up to her, have a conversation with her. We didn't really have that conversation with her because it was just a whirlwind of, oh my gosh, what's happening next thing you know, and then everybody's practicing and it's like, okay, well, I guess this is the decision we made. So it's definitely something you have to think about as a parent coming into these clubs, especially the ones that are more competitive.
Yeah. And that's something to think about because like we talked about in earlier episodes, typically where I'm at, there's not a whole lot of clubs that do tryouts necessarily, or there's just not a ton of clubs. Actually, I'm getting ready to take that back because there's a lot of other smaller clubs that are starting to kind of develop and try to kind of build their presence. But
it's almost like there's a lot of money in club volleyball.
There, yeah. I mean, if you want, we can start our own clubs, right? But,
man,
no, that brings up a good point, man.
Because that's all we're doing.
This is our first year where she decided that she kind of wanted to try something different, see if there's another club out there that maybe fits her needs. And from the stories that we've talked about, we were fully supportive, and that would have been something I would have taken into consideration. Was that I didn't at the time that I know going forward is, hey, okay, this is your plan. What's your backup plan if you don't get that team? And I don't think she thought. I can tell you, I didn't think about it up until this episode, and I know she didn't have a plan. I know it was like, hey, I want to go over here, and that was she wants to try something new, something different, and that's how it went.
Yeah, that's
and
okay.
It could have gone like we talked about. Could have gone a lot of different ways. Fortunately, she got the team that she wanted. She got to play with some of the girls that she's been wanting to play with, and it's working out so far for her. So, but going forward, I know when we're in that position to, I don't have a preference either way. I've got great relationships with parents, kids, coaches, directors across all those teams, all those clubs, and it doesn't matter to me as long as she's going to get her fair opportunity, and as long as she's going to be under the care and development of a good coach, good program, it doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, but before we get to Bradley's comment, which is spot on, I wanted to point out to your scenario, Dan, about do you send your girl to another club if she's not going to be able to play that position? I think you go and talk to your club's director and coaches, and before tryouts, not after tryouts, it's too late. But before tryouts, go and talk to them and say, hey, she really thinks she's an outside or she's a whatever, right? And is she wrong? Is there an opportunity for her to be there?
As a professional,
yeah, and as a professional, as somebody who trains people in this and sees these kids get recruited and scouted, does she have a chance there? And they may say no, and your daughter may be like, I don't care. That's the position I want to play. And at that point, you know what to do, right? If all she wants to do is be a hitter and you want her to be a libero or DS, then she's not going to be happy, and you're not going to be happy spending a bunch of money for her to play a position that she's
not at all. That would make for a long season, I'll tell you that.
Yes.
So Bradley, go ahead.
No, you can read it off.
Yeah, so Bradley had a great comment, right? He says his oldest left a 6-year starting spot at the same club, switched at 16s, and is now as DS with far less playing time. I feel this part with lots of money and less play is hard, but she loves her new team and she's happy.
Yeah.
That's what it's about, right? Eventually is that play time or that experience, and it's not all about playing, right? There's a lot of life lessons here. But man, it's hard to spend $5,000 on club dues plus all the travel fees for those life lessons you could probably get on a regional team.
Yeah, he says felt like taking her attention each year with the same coach wasn't teaching her life lessons. Tryouts were brutal.
Yeah, there you go.
But she is stronger for it. Unlike high school, you have options with club. It's very true. It's definitely very true. I know Brad. My daughter played with his daughter on the high school level, so it's definitely the club he's playing for or she's playing for. It's no slouch. So I'm excited.
Is that your sweatshirt?
No,
She playing for Sting?
No, she's playing for MVP, I believe. He can.
All right.
And it's on the 16s blue team, which is the one that Sydney was on last year. So
yeah,
I'm gonna go down there this weekend. They got a tournament this weekend, so I'm gonna check them out. So
nice.
It's a real deal. Get some hype.
That's such a great call out though, because I remember going to a tournament. It was one of the early season tournaments last year, our first year with this club, and my daughter barely played, like very little, and that was the only time my wife and I drove home from Dallas, and we're just angry, not at each other. We were just upset. We're like, man, we wasted 2 days and all that money, and we're paying all these club dues.
Were you saying this out loud? You were saying this out loud when they're in the car?
Oh, it was a silent 3-hour ride home.
They communicated through brainwaves.
Oh man, we were just mad.
Everybody's done that. If you say you haven't done that, then you're lying, because everybody's done that.
Right. And we obviously got over it, right? But it took a little time to put everything in perspective, and to realize that hey, this is part of the experience. This is part of the lessons for her and for us. That just because you're paying these glove dues isn't a guarantee that you're going to get to play.
No, and there is no guarantee, but it's very hard when clubs are charging so many dollars to not have everybody give everybody playing time, and that's the truth. I mean, I've watched teams with kids that I don't even know how they even made the sport, and they're getting thrown in the rotation just because they paid the dues like everybody else, and I'm not a fan of that. But at the same point in time, they paid the money too, so everybody's got to learn. Everybody's got to learn.
You know what weird thing habit I've picked up is I now count the roster of every team we play. And I'm like 10, 11, 12, 13. 2 of those girls aren't going to play. Right? Yeah. So I'm looking for the parents on their side who are just pissed because their kids are not going to play that whole weekend, right?
Yeah. So Brad said MVP. Younger sister is Sting, which is difficult because Emma made Sting 12s, turned it down, and rejected it this year. I have to bite my tongue because I'm mad for her, but it's true. I mean, it's definitely one of those things, and that's the other thing that I was going to ask is, like, as a parent, and these parents that have kids that played 2 different clubs, like
Travell.
Yeah, why, Travell? Why do you do that?
It wasn't my call 100%.
Obviously,
at least he's honest.
But like I said, I told her when this was first brought up, I said it's one way or another. You're gonna find out a few things, and you're gonna have to navigate a few things, and that, on the end of that, you're gonna learn that it was either a good decision and maybe make more decisions like that, or it was a bad decision, and going forward, hey, I won't make that mistake again. I mean, like I said, I mean, I supported her all the way, and whatever she decided. As a matter of fact, I'll tell you what I did. It would be almost like every other week, she would change which club she thought she might want to go to, and she would be on this side, and I would be telling her all the bad things, not bad things. I shouldn't say bad things. All the cons, cons of being over here versus being over there. And when she would switch and go and kind of start thinking, because of this and this, I'm thinking about doing this now.
Yeah.
I would come over here, and just to make sure she looked at it from all the angles possible, make the best decision. That way, if let's say she made a decision, and for whatever reason throughout the year something went horribly wrong, playing time, you name it, whatever it is, she can at least look back and say she made a well-informed decision. It wasn't because of a lack of kind of throwing it out there. You know what I'm saying? She thought she had all the information available. She thought it through, and at the end of the day, it's a life lesson. You're going to learn how life is after volleyball. It's making decisions, making hard decisions sometimes, making decisions that require you to either make the best of 2 good decisions or make the best of 2 bad decisions. But either way, you're going to learn.
And Dan, I can tell you a couple of reasons that people have daughters at different clubs at different ages is some clubs really focus on developing younger players. And then some clubs are really focused on recruiting and kind of those older girls winning those championships and whatnot.
Yeah.
You know why a lot of clubs are more focused on that kind of 14 and under?
Why is
That's
that?
where the population of volleyball is.
The majority population.
We have clubs around here.
I got you.
That run six teams, right? That run 6 teams from 12s to 14s and 15s.
In each age division?
In each age division, right? 6 12s, 6 13s, 6 14s.
Everything's bigger in Texas.
So, but think about that, right? So 6, 10 players, right? There's 600 girls in each age group paying $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. That's they're making their money, right in those age groups.
Right there,
yeah, but you got to give it to them too. They're developing those girls that are going to be the 16, 17-year-old stars on the court tomorrow. You see what I'm saying?
Are they?
I would say so.
This is probably a discussion.
It depends on the program, right? It still depends on are they putting on a? It does. Are they putting on a good program? If they are,
here's the question for you though: are they only developing their top 1 or 2 teams, and the other 4 are just money
feeders?
I'll say I can't speak for volleyball. I can speak for me. I would say no.
I would say absolutely.
Absolutely.
I would
say yes.
Oh my God. Go watch teams 4, 5, and 6 play and see the quality of play and the quality of development.
I see what you're saying. No, there's definitely a degree your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's still that. What I'm saying is they form teams the same way they do any other age group. I'm saying the focus on development on that team for who they are, I don't think that changes. I don't.
It absolutely does. The quality of coaching, for teams 4, 5, and 6, sometimes 3, 4, 5, and 6, is a huge drop off. They're hiring college players, or
not even parents,
or high school girls.
And that's another thing that I want to talk about too before we get too far off on a tangent here. I don't think we're going to get anywhere. Trevel's got his side, and you've got your side. So we're just
like I said, I can't speak for volleyball. I can just speak for what I know, and what I know may be the minority in this. But that's my limited opinion on what I know and what I've seen.
And I can tell you, for playing for not me playing, but my daughter playing for a club, a premium club or a high-end club, they only care about the 1s and 2s teams. After that, they really don't. They don't care to build that team. They don't care to keep that team together. I've watched Sydney come up 2-3 years, and they just took it on this. And this is the reason why she left Sting and went to MVP, is because they tore the team apart, and they took people out. They don't care about those teams. They're literally feeders, and they put the better teams because now they're missing spots in the 1s and 2s teams, so they tear apart the 3s team, so that they can put together a team. They don't care. They don't care about keeping that team together. They don't. They care about their 1s team and sometimes 2s, depending on the size of the club.
Yeah.
Sometimes those 2s and 3s teams end up being just as competitive as some.
I agree. I don't disagree with that at all. I don't disagree with that.
No.
But that's out of sheer luck. They don't care about those teams. That's my personal opinion.
No, I see what you're saying.
Volleyball is big business, man.
It's no doubt.
Cash cow.
Have you calculated up? We got to do the math. We have to do the math one day.
Let's walk up and down the escalators when they come in the building. God damn it. Yeah.
Jim, we got to calculate this up one day. We got to calculate. Let's just say 6 teams per age division, 11 through 14.
I did it for Austin
You've
Juniors.
done it before.
I have absolutely done it for Austin Juniors. When we were in 12s.
Yeah.
And I was looking at all and maybe it was 11s. I was looking at all the parents and players there for the first team meeting or parent team meeting. I was like, holy crap. They're making 1.5 mil a year easy on just club. Easy.
Yeah. It's let's not even, why do we do it? Why do we do it?
Yeah.
Because we have to. If we want our kids
volleyball video dads volleyball club coming to you.
There you go. Yeah. Extensive video analysis of your player. You got our strengths,
a whole
right?
bunch of opinions.
That's right. We don't know how she should play it, but we can tell her what we think.
Yeah.
So I have a question I want to pose to you guys, and we kind of touched on it just in this last conversation here. The coaches, we have volleyball's exploded. All right, we've got
it's getting big, dude.
There's clubs popping up all over the place.
Well, I'm not even talking about clubs. Like, look at the pro leagues that are starting to be formed.
Sure.
Like,
well, that's what I'm saying.
It's getting big.
This is where I'm going with this. 10 years ago, you had a lot of great coaches because you only had a few teams, a few clubs.
Yeah.
Now we have so many girls and boys that want to play. We don't have enough coaches. So the younger kids, the 11s, the 12s, the 13s, aren't getting the same caliber coaching as they would have 10 years ago when there was less girls playing the sport. But yet the price of volleyball has doubled, tripled. Yeah. How do you, as a parent, navigate that? Or do you not? You just deal with it. Like,
just close your eyes and write the check.
I mean, it would involve to do something like that. You'd have to dig into the program. How are they recruiting? Number one, how are they recruiting their coaches? How are they training their coaches to coach the teams that they're giving them?
Well, right.
Do they come with experience already, or are they having to instill experience that they haven't gained? That's without even asking. You haven't even asked those questions to the club. So, I kind of along with the theme though. You have to think, what are you when you pay for club volleyball? What are you paying for that you cannot get anywhere else? Period. Besides school ball, on court experience, and I mean, again, there's going to be pros and cons to that depending on if you get court time. If you're number 12 or 13, you're not getting that much, but you're getting in real time on the court experience as the game goes on. You can replicate that to a degree in practice, but it's not like facing a TAV team that you've never seen before of this high caliber. You see what I'm saying?
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're spot on. That play time, that game speed is so important for development. Yeah, that's you couldn't be more correct there, Travell.
Yeah.
As far as the coaches go, so you got to do your research about your clubs, right?
Yeah.
One of the things that drew us to Skyline is that they're a smaller club. They generally only run as many teams as they can find quality coaches for.
I like that.
And so they don't have
fantastic.
4 12 teams, right?
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
So
and that's hard though, because I mean, so how many kids, because of that, how many kids do they end up turning away that they don't have a place for?
Probably a lot.
A lot. It is a lot, right? They're leaving money on the table, and I know this will sound like a commercial for my club, but they leave money on the table by turning away probably hundreds, I would assume.
I believe that
across all the age groups. But when they flat out that's just their mission statement. They aren't going to have more teams than they can have quality coaches for, and their top teams, they're going to stack with players that are going to help them win.
Yeah.
And then their second team are going to be players who have the potential to be on a top team. And in some age groups, they don't even run a second team. So,
yeah, that's true.
So you have to do your research on clubs. I mean, and then you look at the other clubs, the bigger clubs in our area. They basically run rec teams for their bottom, their lowest ranked teams. They're essentially rec teams. And hey, more power to these people if they can get their kids playing time, if they can get court time, right? Yeah. That's invaluable. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying for me, it's hard for me to justify paying that kind of money for an experience that's very similar to rec ball. I mean, I can send my kid down to the rec center and have a parent coach and, get similar experiences.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know.
about that one.
I don't know about that one.
I put my first daughter in rec ball, and that was awful.
It is awful, but I guess
club
is the lowest level club team at that age $4,000 better?
I don't like
what I'm saying. Right?
I don't like that you put that question like that.
Right?
That's well said. Yep. It's well said.
Are you getting $4,000 better experience at the bottom club team at that age group? Maybe. I would rather have her go to rec or maybe play sand and take privates with that same money than be on the bottom tier.
I could see that. I would say maybe look at it as I could probably do it for a couple of seasons to see if there's growth and development and if there's a potential for her to be at a higher place than where she's been. And if there's no upward movement, then it's like, hey, maybe we need to pick a different ball sport, like maybe softball or something. But
chess ball.
I think it's worth at least giving it a go. If she's better than rec league, why keep her at rec league? It'd be like it's one of the reasons. It'd be like one of the reasons you would advise, right? Because we don't end up making those decisions. But it would be like how you would advise your daughter on going to a twos team where she would play with, maybe girls that are not at her level, versus playing on a ones team where she's not going to get the playing time, but she's going to play with some all-stars.
Yep.
Which one's worth it more to you, to be successful over here or to kind of develop and get to see the speed that these other athletes are playing at? You know what I'm saying?
If the quality of coaching is there and the program is there to help her develop, I'm all for it. I'm willing to pay the money if there's an opportunity there's a real opportunity for development. But if it's just a money grab so they can trot out some high school kid who doesn't really know how to run a team, man, I have a harder time with that.
Yeah.
But because you might have kids like that are looking at trying to do something like this at a junior high level, high school level. Where do they get their experience from if you don't provide them that avenue? And where's the opportunity at?
Now we're getting
we're crossing into a territory. Yeah. And Dan, you and I have had some discussions about this, about club sports, right? Just the pay to play aspect of sports, where kids used to develop by playing where? At school. That's where
that was where it was at.
And now that's not where they develop anymore.
No,
for pretty much every sport,
and it's funny.
Football.
We were talking about this, and my son plays club hockey now, and he's by far, and we've had this discussion, both of us, but for everyone that's listening, he is by far not even remotely close to being the second best player on the team. He just put skates on like last fall, so he's on a C team right now, and I'm just happy to see him on a team. I'm just happy to see him get skate time. I'm just happy to see him, learning the game and maybe playing in a game. Now, does it hurt me when I drive 6 hours away for 3 days and spend $2,000 in hotel room and food to watch him sit on the bench or play 6.7 seconds in a weekend? Yeah, that hurts.
You better tell him that if he's playing 6.7 seconds, he better get a penalty. So he's got 2 minutes in the box.
Oh yeah, I felt your pain when you were saying that, Dan. I could feel the pain coming through your voice.
Oh, he was so excited when he came off. He goes, "Did you see me play he's making a joke out of it. It's like, you see me playing like 6.7 seconds? Like, yeah, I saw it. I saw it.
Yeah.
But every game he's getting a little bit more time. He's skating a little faster, handling the puck a little bit more, hitting people now. So it does pay. Like, he is learning. And I think if he were on a rec team, or where you go to like these events where they just teach you how to play the game,
pickup game,
skate or whatever you want to call it, I don't think he would be nearly as far along if he was on a rec team versus a C-level club team, So I can see where Travell is saying, yeah, pay the $4,000, whether it's a high school kid that just started playing the game or just started coaching the game. It's better than dad, running a rotation, with a with one of those flag shirts on. You know what I mean? So there's definitely I think there is a value there, but $4,000 is that value?
Yeah, and I'm certainly not saying there's no value there. And I'm with you guys. I really am. It's just, what's that value proposition, right? And it's going to be dependent on what your family can afford, right?
Yeah.
Yes. It's
oh yeah, I love that.
I like how. Oh yeah, I like that one.
Volleyball is different than any other sports because you get more growth going to sand for less around the same money, or sand or less on the same money. It's definitely true.
So sand volleyball, for those of you who have the opportunity, especially at a young age, is an amazing way to get your player more individualized coaching, because there's only 2 on the court at a time.
Yep.
They'll get better conditioning. They have to learn how to pass incredibly well, how to move, and how to communicate, because there's only 2 of them on the court.
Yeah.
Honestly, what happened to us is we kind of picked up sand towards the end of 11s, and then COVID happened, and so we leaned into it through 12s. And honestly, I think that's made a huge difference in how my daughter has been able to progress to the point that she has. So, if you find yourself, having a low level club team or indoor team that you just don't feel like your kid's going to get development on, if you have sand in the area, man, spend a season doing that.
Yeah.
Or definitely. Do both if you can.
Yeah. I mean,
sand is amazing.
I don't know if it's the same in Texas, but when club is over, sand starts.
Yeah. Well, I think we got
sand year round.
I think we got a club that does sand volleyball. We have not done sand volleyball, but if that is true, we will probably partake in that this year. So
yeah, it's definitely.
But I mean, for the same reasons, I think working out in the sand is gonna make them that much quicker, that much faster. I'm all for it.
I'm with you, Brad. I wish my daughter could be recruited for sand. It's not happening in Wisconsin, considering it's like 28 degrees and snowing right now.
Hey, that's another good call out, though, is there's actually a lot of scholarships for sand.
Really?
Yeah.
Wouldn't have known that. Didn't even know sand was an option as a recruitable sport for a
Title IX, baby.
I didn't
know.
Get
those. Gotta have women's programs of some sport to offset those huge volleyball or football rosters, right?
No, that's good. I mean, I knew that you could go and play professionally, but I guess I never thought that there had to be some levels in between going out to your local sand court and playing pickup games and going pro. There's got to be a couple of different steps in that.
Sand is amazing. In fact, I'd love to see my daughter do it some more if we could find a way to squeeze it into her already busy schedule. But
so
you could put one in the backyard, just remove the contraption you built and put it back there.
Hey, one of our members in the Volleyball Dads Facebook group built a 2-court indoor sand facility pretty close to where we live.
Have you gone over there yet? Have you talked to him yet?
I haven't. I haven't, but he set up a father-daughter tournament for sometime in March. Idea. And I think we're on spring break during that time, so I think we might.
If not, just go grab some hype reel. I'd love to see the facility, considering it's backyard.
That'd be cool.
It's amazing. It's an indoor, it's a totally enclosed facility, and I'm like, I was so jealous because I actually had plans to kind of do a single court version of that when we move out to the country. But by that time, my daughters will both be grown up and they won't be living with us. So it'll just be my wife and I playing sand volleyball by ourselves.
They'll come back and play from time to time.
Yeah, that's all right. I'll go out there and play sand volleyball with her.
Yeah.
She'll whoop me, but.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no doubt.
So with that being said, why do we do it? Why do we spend all this money on club volleyball? And this last year, it really came to fruition for me when one of the parents said, I'm spending all this money. I'm going to have fun. I'm going to treat every tournament like a vacation. And that was a light bulb for me, because we'd give up vacations. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Send our kids.
Yeah.
And if you're going to 4 different states, 5 different states, 6 or 7 different tournaments over 3-4 days, why not make a vacation out of it? Yeah, I know you're in a freaking building for sometimes 8 hours, if not more, for 3 days. But the time that you have off, you spend it with these families, you have fun, and you
I like
treat
it.
it like a vacation. You have to, because if you don't, you're just putting money out there, and it gets to you, you know.
Yeah.
So Dan, I have to say, you actually inspired me over the last couple of years, and this year, my daughter and I are taking road trips to 3 of our tournaments. We have one in Dallas, that it's just going to be her and I.
Awesome.
Another one in Kansas City and one in St. Louis, and we're road tripping to all of those.
Nice.
And I am beyond excited to take a road trip with her.
Yeah, it's a whole lot of fun, and it's like you'll never get that time back, or you'll never get the opportunity to spend with a teenager, you know, a teenage daughter, for hours on end, and nowhere for them to go. They can't go run and hide in their room. You know what I mean? They can't talk on the phone. They're stuck in the car with you in the front seat most of the time. You know, it's
So
an
so
opportunity.
she did tell me she's very excited about it too. So hopefully she's telling the truth. I assume she is.
Oh yeah, I'm sure she is.
You got any tips? Let her control the radio.
Yeah.
Oh,
Let her
absolutely.
make snack stops.
Yeah. So what we do is our routine was because she's a creature of habit. So it would be, I would go to the store the day of or the night before. I would get everything that she normally gets, you know, all that stuff that mom doesn't want her to have, energy drinks and, you know, candy, chocolate covered pretzels, you know.
There you go.
And then I would message her, you know, while I'm there, hey, any last minute requests? She usually would have something dumb that she thought up, and we'd get that, pile it all in the car, and then go. She's in charge, you know. Yeah, radio, whatever you want to listen to. Swear words, don't care. How loud, doesn't matter. Whatever you want to do. This is all you. And it's awesome. I mean,
Are all volleyball dads like this?
It's
got to be, right?
Only the good ones. And in fact, it's funny because
there you go.
there's another dad in our group, a good friend of mine now. We would carpool together, so it's 2 dads, 2 girls, and it was Sydney's the outside and Bays was the libero, and those two. I mean, talk about bonding. You're driving 6-7 hours one direction in a car, and these 2 girls are sitting right next to each other the whole ride there and the whole ride back. I mean, we've experienced some fun times, and we've experienced some real fucking cat fights, but it's at the end it's worth it. I mean, it's fun when, you know, it's 11 o'clock at night and nothing else is open except for a Wendy's, and one of the girls does not want Wendy's and the other one does. And we're 2 dads in the front seat going, girls are going to have to make a decision here.
We don't care, right?
We ended up getting food, but it was definitely a lot of drama, and they still talk about it to this day.
That's good.
That's good stuff.
That's good.
So why do we spend the money? It's not only just club ball. It's also relationships between you and your kids. It's also relationships between other parents and having fun with other families. So if I had the opportunity to do it again, I would do it again in a heartbeat, and I would probably pay double, just because it's as long as you find it and find the right group of people.
Yeah, I'm down for it, man. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money, and depending on where you're at and what type of team you're on, it can be more or less, but generally we're all paying a lot of money. But the experience, like you said, the relationships. I'm gonna start looking at this as a vacation. I haven't looked at it as a vacation. I honestly hadn't.
Have to. I mean, if you
And
think about the dollars you're spending, Travell.
Yeah, I guess I'm looking at it because I'm very conservative on time,
sure.
Time away from the courts. It's like,
But
hey,
think about it, time away from
we're going
work.
to bed. We're going to bed this time. We're getting up this time.
Yeah, but you can't. I'll be honest. There's a time for that, and there isn't. You know.
Yeah, typically at the end, or maybe early on the first day, like traveling. But after that, I'm all business, man. All business.
I definitely was all business many years ago. The last year that Sydney and I did this last year, no, there was no business. It was all fun.
Yeah,
it was all fun. Go. I mean, granted she was 16, so she had a bit of, regimen already. So it's not like,
yeah,
flying down the hallways at 1 a.m. But like, go do what you want to do. Have fun.
So Travell, with our couple minutes left, what's your why? What's your why for why we do this?
My why, it's gonna be why do I pay it? I pay it for the experience to have when the opportunity comes for her to potentially do something or be in a position where she can now take it to the next level. The sub reason under that would be the life lessons she's going to learn, the experience that she's going to get, having to intermingle with people that are not necessarily her friends, but she's got to make relationships. She's got to learn how to work things out. And then communication, because it comes to communication on the court between her and other teammates, between her and her coaches. Those are things that you have to use once you get done. Once volleyball is over, like life just doesn't stop. You still have to be able to work a job. You still have to be a decent human. You still got to be able to abide by the things that life should teach you. And I'm just using volleyball to help me out with some things that I wouldn't otherwise have the opportunity to do.
Love it, Travell.
Yep.
So, are you going to ask me why?
Why, Dan? Why do you do it? Why do you pay for it?
What's your why? What's your why, Dan?
So I originally I did it so my kid could play a sport, and I wanted her to be competitive, and it was for selfish reasons. But now why I do it is to get the opportunity to have time with my daughter on something like-minded, because the older they get, the more they don't want to do the things that we want to do. And to have that opportunity for 6 months out of the year on a certain amount of weekends, you can't get that back. So that's the reason why I did it. I did it for selfish reasons to begin, for reasons that are completely different from the beginning till now.
Yeah.
Love it.
Very cool.
Okay, Jim. Cool. What, Jim?
Why do you do it?
You're not getting out of this, Jim.
Why do you pay the money?
Because they told me to.
That bill is due, Jim. The bill is due? Why are you paying the money?
So for me,
validate it, Jim. Validate it.
Here we go. I'm gonna rationalize and justify like you've never seen. No, in all seriousness, it's a blend of the two of you, right? It's really about supporting my daughter and what she wanted to do. She came to us at a very young age, told us what her goals were and what she wanted to work towards. And we told her, we've got your back. We will support you in that. And so, we're doing it to support her, but we're doing it because, man, it's just a great way to spend time with her, to see her develop and to grow, and to see her show off all the things that she's learning and all the hard work that she's putting into it. So it's time spent. It's building that bond that will transcend volleyball and will, help us have that relationship, hopefully, as she moves into adulthood at some point. And that's so true. That's the idea.
And just so you all know, my buddy Steve says volleyball doesn't have to end after high school or college. Midwest has a great competitive adult volleyball community. Not talking about beer leagues, and he's correct. There's one out there. It's adult. It's the Wapaka boat ride, which is it's grass.
Oh,
it's
what a name!
Yeah, Wapaka.
That's a Wisconsin name. Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
That's a Wisconsin photo. Steve, if you're still watching this, where did you get this photo? Did you pull it out of your high school yearbook or what? I'm gonna get blown up here in a bit. But anyway, the Wapaka Boat Ride is an adult tournament, and it's on a farm. It's really cool. In fact, I'm going up there this year to film some of it. So you guys will get to see some of that. But yeah, it's he's right. It doesn't stop. It doesn't stop. It's the largest outdoor volleyball tournament in the country.
Very cool.
That's cool.
And just for clarification, that's his old UWO coaching headshot. Nice headshot. Good job, Steve.
Good job. Like it.
All right. I think we've reached the peak. In fact, we're past the point. I feel like this just blew by.
Yeah, it did, dude. This one went by quick. Before you close this out, hey, if y'all got what's y'all's why? If y'all are watching live later on, in the comments, let us know why do you pay the money, that the club fees, the club dues,
the time.
I mean,
travel,
why do you do
all
it?
that stuff? Why do you do it? Yeah, and come bring it over to our Facebook group, the Volleyball Dads Facebook page. Come join the community over there, and let's chat about it.
Yeah,
definitely. And for all the people that commented, thank you for all the comments. We
appreciate it.
Yes,
the conversation.
Appreciate it.
So the more comments, the more conversation, the more we'll do this.
We will.
Absolutely. Thanks, everybody.
Yep. Hey,
all
appreciate
right,
it. Next time.
What do we hit all those? The Facebook page, the YouTube channel, and
Facebook page. We got YouTube. Podcast. Make sure to find us on all of your podcast sites, Spotify,
Instagram,
Apple Podcasts, etc. We've got an Instagram, we've got a Twitter account, so you can find us.
Yeah, we got Matt's OnlyFans page. You got to go find that too.
That's a paywall. Yeah.
All right, guys. 2 weeks from now, 8:00. We will see you then.
See y'all.